like they did. When we were driving over, my mom said, I bet not that many people are dressed up. Sorry. I would say it's like 90% of you. So thank you all so much.
We didn't want to be fine.
You didn't want to be fine. Don't worry, that is coming. Okay, Suzanne, would you like to come join me? She's going to give our invocation and pledge.
Okay, thank you very much, fellow Rotarians, President Natalie. Welcome to today's Rotary meeting. I recently came across a little inspirational book that I felt really set the tone for today and kind of inspired me as well. And it was a little book, If Only I Knew, by Lance Wabell. It's gentle reminders to help you treasure the people in your life.
Bless you.
And I quote, "We live in an uncertain world. When we leave home in the morning, we assume we will return home in the evening. When we say goodbye to loved ones, we take it for granted that we will see them again. We presume they know we love them, so we seldom say the words. Unfortunately, we fail to consider the mortal reality that this may not be the case until it's too late. Tomorrow does not always come. We never know when life will be dramatically changed, sometimes permanently. If only I knew that it's never too late to rewrite one's life story, I would have pulled out my pen sooner. If only I knew that wonders surround all that we do, everywhere, all the time, I would have searched my little corner of the world and been continually amazed. If only I knew that no one ever sees the same thing in the exactly same light, I would have found more pleasure in others' opinions, even when they did not share mine. If only I knew that sometimes it's better not to know. I would have spared myself heartaches and cares I was never meant to carry. If only I knew that no word of love is ever lost, I would have allowed my tongue more freedom to truly speak from my heart. Think about it. Don't allow the regrets of if only I knew to be the final marker in your life. Be swift to love. Hurry to be kind. Take time to make someone feel special. Freely give hugs and kisses. And may I love you be often on your lips. Our Pledge of Allegiance, please. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Suzanne. Okay.
I love you.
Do we have any visiting Rotarians that snuck in and got by without me knowing? Any visiting Rotarians? All right, with that, we are going to, yes?
Guest of Rotarians?
We're going to do guest of Rotarians, starting right over here.
President Natalie and fellow Rotarians and guests, I'm very happy to introduce my special guest, Reverend Michael Foley. Michael, you see that? Michael is the priest in charge at Christ Episcopal Church Coronado. He joined us in March of this year, but that's not all. He moved here as a very young child in 1969. He went through our entire school system from kindergarten through high school, then went on to University of California, Santa Barbara, and much higher education, served several positions for the church. He now is back here in Coronado. Welcome to Coronado and to Rotary.
Welcome. We're dressed like this every
Yes, please. President Natalie, Rotarians and fellow guests, it's my pleasure to introduce for the second time my special guest. You getting it all fixed up there?
Yeah. Carry on.
My special guest for the second time, Steve Gormican.
Doug.
President Natalie, fellow Rotarians and guests, I have a special guest, Shannon Martinez. She was a Rotaractor for 4 years in Tijuana, in and now she's in San Diego.
Watch out for that.
President Dr. Natalie Bailey and my fellow Rotarians, I would like to introduce my special guest for the very last time today she's being inducted. This is Katie. We'll talk about her when she's up there, so save your applause.
President Natalie, President Natalie, fellow Rotarians and guests, I'd like to introduce my special guest, Colonel Harlan Sanders. Good and very old friend, Robert McDonald.
Madam President, it is my pleasure to introduce to you my special guest for the third time, Jamie Colson, who is with the YMCA. His application is in, and he passed Tom's interview.
President Natalie, fellow Rotarians, I would like to introduce my special guest, Maria Simon, who used to be on the school board, and now she works with the district as our communications person, correct? I'd also like to introduce, Jane's not here, so this is Annelise de la Rosa, who's our student Rotarian, and also he will be speaking. We have a CHA student, Sean Wilbur. So I'd like to introduce all three of them. I'll introduce Karl. Karl gets a special.
Oh, wait, one more. I got one here.
President Natalie, fellow witches, warlocks, and whatever you might be today, I'm pleased to introduce my guest, Mary Poppins, otherwise known as Alexia Palacio Peters. And when Mary Poppins pulls everything out of her bag, and you always say, you know, busy people can do a lot. Not only is she school board president, because she's actively involved in the women's club, she is a military spouse, 3 children, just won her 4.5 tennis championship national with her fellow women that she works with. There's nothing Alexia can't do. Welcome.
Okay, I was going to introduce her, but our student Rotarian, Annelise de la Rosa, is going to come up here. It's okay. She's going to come up here and introduce herself and tell us a little bit about herself. Come on up. Better to introduce multiple times than never. So tell us about yourself and take it away.
Hi everyone, my name is Annelise de la Rosa, and I just wanted to come up here and talk a little bit about myself. So I'm a senior in Coronado High School. I actually moved here last year, and before that I lived 2 years in Mexico, and a little bit before that I went to a Christian school here in San Diego. And when I was in 8th grade, I kind of just decided I wanted to go to Mexico, try something new, and my parents were always like super supportive about that. So I went to Mexico for 2 years. I had a great time there. It was very different. It was a very big school. I got to meet a lot of great people. And then I started thinking about college and wanted to become a dentist. So I kind of had to come back, you know, to get that. And I've been liking CHS so far. Everybody's super nice. That's why I chose CHS. And I struggled a little bit at first, but I had somebody that really supported me, which was Ms. Gutierrez. She was my AP Spanish teacher, and she was just always there for me. Sometimes I was like by myself during lunch, and she would come up and just like talk with me for a little bit, and that really made my day. And yeah, I mean, we'll see where next year takes me. And thank you for everybody here that makes Coronado feel like home.
Training. We'll talk later, but you can always come and check out the office and see if you like what we do. Okay, so I'm going to bring you back to 1925 and what Halloween looked like. It was a little different than today. Trick-or-treating was not a thing. Halloween was less about trick-or-treating and more about mischief and pranks and tricks and getting in trouble, which it's not anymore, right? And there really weren't many store-bought costumes. It was all homemade. One interesting thing that I found out doing my research on ChatGPT is in 1925, they were just starting to carve pumpkins. The reason they were just starting with pumpkins is because they actually traditionally would carve jack-o'-lanterns out of turnips, which, have you guys seen a turnip in a while? It's kind of kind of small, right? It's a little small. So what I thought this was going to be a lot easier than it was, but I'm picking out my favorite costume, and there's a lot of options here. You guys made this really difficult. We have pirates, we have witches, we have Cruella de Vil, we have all sorts of fun things. But the person that I think put the most effort into their costume is also the person that suggested that we should do this, and that is Juli.
Yeah.
Juli, come up here. Come get your turn up. I mean, look at this outfit. I know you can't speak because you're running the dance, but this turn up is for you. Well deserved, am I right? Okay, so now back to business, people. The last week there were a lot of fun Rotary events, including the bowling to benefit Alzheimer's. I know I mentioned it, but since our screen wasn't working last week, I still wanted to put up some photos because it looked like a really fun time. There was also an alt meeting where Taylor Stockdale spoke. We had probably a record amount of people at that meeting. Would you say, Kathy?
Yeah.
We also had Halloween happenings at Spreckles Park on Friday. Who was there? Ron, Stephanie, John, Rob, Pat. I think that was everyone. Sandke and Brian showed up. We had a great time. And then lastly, there was a group that went out to Fisher House. So thank you guys all for all of the support and fundraising and volunteering that you do, because every single week I have more things to add up here. And now I think it's time for an induction. Yeah? Shannon, Katie, Suzanne Manuel, come on up. And this is a special day since you get inducted while everyone's in costume. You'll never forget, probably.
We think we should do this more often, don't you? It'd be fun. Well, what a special day and what an honor to be able to induct a new member. President Natalie, fellow Rotarians and guests, on behalf of the Rotary Club of Coronado, it's my privilege and honor to induct a special new member today. I'd like to ask Shannon to give us her name and classification.
Hi. So this is Katie Quartucci, and her classification is clinical research healthcare. I believe in the 80-20 rule, which is I'll meet you 80, you give me 20, and then you can give more. Katie is she'll meet you and then give you more, so she's at the 50-50, 60-40 range. So I thought she's perfect for this club, someone who's ready to say yes. So if you've got bodies that you need in your committee, she's completely open. Anyway, just overall a great human being, and yeah, she just the opening statement about saying love. I would say I love her. I love her as a friend, and it's just one of those humans that I think is just perfect for the club, and you'll see as you get to know her. So thank you all for accepting her into the club.
Katie, you've been invited for membership, and the Rotary Club of Coronado has accepted you as a person of good character, high ethical standards, and a person who has the heart for service, and is a leader in our community. We encourage you to learn all you can about Rotary and to strengthen your own leadership and communication skill by actively participating in the activities of our club, including attending meetings, social events. They were very fun, and service projects, and they're wonderful and fun too. You've been invited to join Rotary, but it will be through your own actions that you will become a complete Rotarian, and by saying yes to all the different clubs for the different projects. One question for you, Katie. What was your prime motivation to become a Rotarian?
Hi everyone, thank you. I come from a long line of Rotarians. My grandparents have always served their community, my parents in whatever city they were living in, and so I just have really fond memories of that, and I'm so happy to be able to continue the tradition.
So Shannon, please present Katie with her Rotary pin. And we're not too prejudiced about our club, but we want to welcome you to the best Rotary Club in the universe. There you go. Fellow Rotarians, please stand and give a warm Rotary welcome to Katie, our newest Coronado Rotarian.
President Natalie, could I say something real quick?
Yeah.
Got a mic?
Sure.
It's about this, so.
Okay, so I really enjoyed Katie. She was so good, and you can hear all about her. But when we had to come up, when I was doing my Rotary Run for her classification, she works primarily at scripts. So we had scripts, research, blah, blah, blah. And then after I sent out the voting for the different groups she came back and said, I don't want scripts in there because I do more. So she changed it to scripts, research / healthcare. In the meantime, clinical, Anyway, clinical research, healthcare. So in the meantime, as the voting's going around, our good friend Marv comes up. He's always the one that gives me trouble. And he voted no. No, he said, you can't put scripts in there. Well, we'd already changed it with Katie. Would you believe he suggested what her classification would be? What do you think it was? Clinical research / healthcare. So I asked both Katie and Marv, do you guys know each other? They said no. So anyway, it was some kind of new that came about.
Thank you so much for that addition. Speaking of finding, Tom, just like a $5 in the cart bucket for the unannounced announcement would be awesome. And you guys, 20 would be even better. I forgot. I told you I was going to do this.
Yeah.
If you're not wearing a costume or I had to give you a headband or glasses, put some money in the bowl, please.
I am wearing a costume. I'm the ghost of President's hat.
Yes.
Let's stay out on that.
Okay. We have a few things coming up. There's a beach cleanup. There is flags on the avenue. And then November 22nd, there's going to be a trip down to the Limbs of Freedom Clinic in Ensenada. Tim Cusick is driving a group down. He goes at 6 a.m. and you guys get back at 4. You must have a Century Pass. But it's really fun to go see the project in action, meet the team, just kind of see what one of the things that we fund is all about. Next week, we're actually going to have the Limbs of Freedom team come and speak to us. So if you're not sure you want to go down, you may be inspired next week. There's also a district foundation seminar for anyone who would want to go and learn more about the district, where actually the Limbs of Freedom project will be presented. Luann and Karl are going, so if you'd like to join them, please see them or email to coordinate. And then today is our last day for Christmas in October. Past President Pat, would you like to come up here? Oh, I'm sorry. Past President Chief. Not to be confused with a Chiefs fan. Just Chief.
Thank you, Madam President Glenda Goodwich. We appreciate you. She asked me to give an abbreviated presentation, and I will. And did you ever think about abbreviated? Why it's such a long word? No. So tomorrow is Christmas in October. You can see what you did this week. It's pretty remarkable. I want to tell you that right now we have 17 different organizations who have participated and delivered. There have been at least 3 loads go already, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. There's a load being delivered right now. And then I know a number of organizations who have committed that are going to be there tomorrow. It'll be fun to be 9 o'clock, 455 Palm Avenue in IB, not here, in IB. You're welcome to come down. It usually lasts about an hour. It doesn't require much other than just to watch all the food come in. It's quite remarkable. Listening to this inspirational moment, I was reminded that it's wonderful to say I love you to people. but it is more wonderful to show them that you love them by the things that you do. And that's what that is for you guys. So thank you so much for supporting this great effort.
And while we're on the subject of holidays, Juli and Julianne and Kelly, come on up because they have a fun announcement to make.
Big trouble right there.
This is quite a team here.
Hello. Okay, so we are here to talk about the holiday party, which is coming up, and we expect you all to be there. It's going to be on Wednesday, December 17th, and once again, it'll start at 11 a.m., not noon. It's going to start at 11 a.m. because we have to party. I mean, we need a larger time frame. An hour and a half won't do it. And so, 11 to 1:30. The reason why we do it is to have fun, but also to collect gifts for STEP, Support the Enlisted Project. Much more information to come on all of this and little surprises and fun things. But today, we're going to turn it over to Julianne, who's going to talk about something really fun.
So last year we wanted to do this, but we didn't start quickly enough. On your tables, you're going to see a flyer that looks like this. We are trying to get together as part of our entertainment for the day, the Rotary Rockettes. So we need at least 7 ladies, Red Badgers, Katie, is anybody is welcome. This is going to be really low key, very simple steps. It's going to be a very short routine. There are the 4 rehearsal dates on here. If you are interested, again, it's going to be really easy and fun. There are 4 dates for rehearsals.
I have a bad knee and I'm doing it, so you can all do it.
And we're going to be wearing very modest costumes. The toy soldier, it's very simple. If you're at all interested, please text me or call me on the phone number listed in red on the flyer. And please do this today, because we want to get started. Thank you.
I'm very excited for that, and I would like to volunteer and sign up to participate.
Woo! Yes!
Okay, and one of our last announcements. Where did he go? Is Bill Sandke here?
Right here.
There he is.
President Natalie and fellow Rotarians, I'm channeling my inner Vladimir Putin today. If you don't like the sign, stay off the balconies. Just saying. Okay, so about 18 months ago, we started getting together as a committee, the Rotary 100 Committee, and had all sorts of different activities and the ice cream social, other things that are going on. We also had a signature project to plan for, and this has been in the works for over 3 years. The signature project, we had 3 that we considered at the very early part of this process. One was suggested by Bill Geis. It was a carousel, if you will, a stage setup kind of that would mimic the Tent City Carousel over in the park between City Hall and the Community Center. That was deemed too expensive. We talked about some improvements to existing Rotary Park at 10th and Orange, maybe even taking up a lane of traffic, making more grass area, and making also an artistic commemorative wall that would basically provide some screening for pedestrians that were in that park. We've already had, over the last 5 years, 2 cars drive up into that park. And so our thought was that would be a good way to go. That was talked about and discarded, number one, because it's kind of a city responsibility, and Mayor Duncan was kind enough to say that if it's, in fact, it's something we want to work towards, he would help it, shepherd it at the city level. The second reason is that we already have a presence there, and we were looking for a presence in a different part of town. So we came up with the sign idea, and we looked around town where it could be, where it would get A, a lot of exposure, and B, have room to be built. The location we ended up choosing was along the Bayside Bikeway on Thailand's Park, and our initial location proposed to the port was between the bikeway and the water, so that the sign would be on the edge of the sidewalk, and the bay and the bridge would be the background. So after 6 different meetings with the port to go through environmental concerns, siting concerns, it was determined by the port environmental folks that they didn't want the sign next to the water. For several reasons I can get into details with you. I'll stick around after the meeting to talk about specifics. So they proposed a couple of different options for us a little further into the park, and this picture illustrates where we've decided to go with it. It is a little bit dated because at the suggestion of the city manager, Tina Friend, we actually went away from the red brick and we're using a tan, sort of neutral color brick. And so those bricks will have an opportunity for you to put your name on and commemorate your contribution to the program. And in 2 weeks, you're going to hear more about the fundraising side of this particular project. That's not my department, thank goodness. But getting the sign built is my responsibility, along with the committee. We've worked through many different groups at the port. At the suggestion of Tina Friend, we ended up as a city manager's report on the last council agenda. And while the Port Tidelands has the jurisdiction for approving the sign, the city of Coronado has building permit rights. So they will permit the electricity that will light the sign, and they will permit the concrete that will hold the sign up. The actual specifics of the sign, the letters are 4 feet high, the base is a foot, so the top of the letters will be about 5 feet. At the suggestion of the port, they wanted a soft material around it in case somebody fell off, so it's got playground material around the base of it. That playground material is also permeable to meet the stormwater requirements and many other environmental things that go with this. And so our next hurdle, we've been through the first Port Art Committee meeting. They loved it, wanted to see the final design. We have a Rotarian member, Jeanmarie Bond, who's on that committee and represents Coronado on that committee. And the community was very receptive to the project, which is why we moved forward. At City Council, I'll call it a lukewarm reception, frankly. 3 of the concerns that were expressed by a couple of the council members were the fact that if you were on the bikeway, you'd be looking at the back side of the sign. That is the situation with signs all over the world, let alone the United States. So we do have that hurdle because of the change in location. We don't feel it's a detriment to the actual sign, and if we looked at making it two-sided, but you couldn't see through it, and we did dance around that issue, and decided that because of the ability for people to walk around to the front side of the sign, get the picture done, that seeing it from behind is not a big issue. The secondary concern that was expressed by council members was our long-term commitment to make sure the sign stays pretty. We do take that on as a responsibility with our agreement with the port, and I have every confidence that the Rotarians will be able to provide a little bit of money to help clean it up once or twice a year, provide responsive graffiti abatement, which is being added to the contract with the company that is building our sign for us. It's Coastal Signs Plus, and they have signs all over San Diego County that are very, very similar to this. Unfortunately, at the port, this is the first one of these signs that the port has worked with. And so it's being approved under their policy 609, which covers art and objects that are donated to the port. We have been considered an object because if we were trying to make it a little more artistic, it would have to go through a completely different artistic review that would involve the artist presenting a portfolio of their work, an extensive, it was very problematic. And I got to hand it to both Commissioner Tassin and Scott Davis, who I'm working with from the port staff, to lead this thing in a direction that makes it possible to do. As you know, with any government project, there's a lot of people want to put their fingers in the pie. This was definitely the case with this one, and it was at City Hall. And I respected all the comments that were made and spoke after the meeting with our port representative, and he felt at the December arts meeting at the port, he'd be able to express the concerns that were raised by City Council. He'd also be able to make sure that they're addressed in a proper manner that doesn't reflect poorly on the city or the port. And in a discussion just a couple days ago with Commissioner Tassin, he continues to be supportive of the project, and so our intention is to get those approvals done at the port level in December, begin construction in January, and they say 6 weeks for construction, so hopefully we'll be ready by that March 8th date. It is a labor of love for me that I've been involved in it for so long, and I consider it an honor to serve my club this way. There's a commemorative plaque that goes along with this sign that says, "This sign is given on behalf of the Coronado Rotary Club on its 100th anniversary. Rotary is a national organization in 190 countries, blah, 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 blah." And I have some text I can share with you if you want to know what the commemorative sign says. And so I'm open for a couple of questions now, but I know I want to get to the speaker because I really respect Karl. And so if you got any quick ones, lay them on me and I'll see what I can do. Cruella.
Hello, does anyone have any
Dalmatians?
Well, can you explain how it will be lit up at night? You referenced that.
So there'll be some in-ground lighting angled at a little have a glass thing over the top of it and angled up at the sign, so it'll be lit from below. That has a lot to do with why we had to move it, because Apparently the migrating birds and the fish don't want lights next to the water. The sign also needed to be moved away from the water because it's a perch for predatory birds who might take advantage of the ability to see the fish. Anyway, that's too much in the weeds, but anyway, any other quick questions? Yes?
Is it in the way, it looks like it's in the way of the 4th of July run?
No.
It is not in the way of any runs, whether it's a turkey trot or the 4th of July run. It's located, the position is actually between the playground and the sidewalk as you go closer to the bridge. So it's not in the area that's used for the run.
I am very supportive. I'm very excited and supportive of this. I brought the 100 letters out to the area that we're going to have it. Can you go to the next slide? They're not as tall as they're going to be, but I brought them out there just to kind of visualize and see it in like real setting.
Pretty close.
Yeah, it is pretty close, and my mom and I measured it out. What I really like about it is that it's not in the way, and it's actually pretty far away from the boardwalk, further than it looks. So when you're biking, it's not like directly right there. The idea is not to make a sign for bikers to see. The idea is to make a sign that has a beautiful background of the bridge. We didn't want to put it at San Diego because we're not trying to show off San Diego. Some of the other locations, like the Dell, we're trying to show off like a beautiful, picturesque background. It's not for the bikers. Now, even though it's from behind, I have traveled all over the world and seen so many of these signs, and you see it from behind, and you don't think, oh my gosh, what does that say? You think, oh, I bet that's a Coronado sign. I'm going to go take a picture with that.
And you'll go to the other side.
And you go to the other side and take a picture where it says Coronado. So to me, that's not too much of an issue, but that's my opinion. Thank you.
Suzanne, a quick question.
Well, she's the president. She can do anything she wants.
This is how you do it in the form of a question. It's my understanding, and thank you for your work on the project, that at that city council hearing, the mayor made a lot of positive comments. Is that accurate? And if so, my prediction would be that it's very likely that the project shall be approved. Thank you, sir.
Okay, we do have a fundraising element to this thing. You're going to be buying a brick. Raise your hand if you'd be interested in buying a brick. Let me see a show of hands here. That's 80% of the club right there. I really appreciate that. Again, we got a little bit more to get this thing done, but I want to thank you all very much for your support. I will be in the back and taking any specific questions. I also have the whole file. We can go back through everything if you'd like to. Thank you all very much. Enjoy your day.
Well done.
And if you don't like it, stay off the balcony.
I don't have to ask questions, Mayor Duncan, because I'm the president. No, I'm not going to fine him because he was supportive. Hey, Jeanmarie, come on up. She's going to give an announcement about PR and then introduce our speaker and guest, who I'm very excited about because he was my principal.
Okay, quick costume change. Okay, I'm going to unveil it right now. We want you. We are the PR committee. And Katie, congratulations. You're already a member of the PR committee. Shannon volunteered. We have a very small but mighty force, but we need more people because this is our big, big year. And it's a year that we really need to get the word out. We have more than 24 annual events that we get to publicize throughout the community. Facebook, Instagram, magazines, and newspapers. In terms of weekly events, we have inductions, we have members, we have member spotlights, we have featured speakers, we have beach cleanups, we have check presentations. But we need more of you to help us with this committee because it's a small but mighty group. There are only 10 of us, which with 260 members, that's only 4% of our club. So we need you to help us. I don't care what your skill level is. I don't care what your talent level is because we have some amazing people on our on this team that can help you learn Instagram and Facebook. They can also help you learn how to write a very simple press release. And we just need more people. Tomorrow, Thursday at 4 o'clock, we're having our first meeting, real meeting of the year. It's going to be at the Beach Club at Coronado Shores. I'm hosting it. Because there's alcohol served there, you might just want to come and check out the PR committee because my credit card's going down there. And so if you're interested in coming to the PR committee meeting and finding out anything about what we're thinking of doing and planning to do and hoping to do next year, please come tomorrow. Text me, email me, call me, let me know. All right, now, costume change. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm a witch, not a human. It is my absolute honor to be introducing our speaker today. He served for Coronado Unified School District from 2005 to 2013 as the ROP director, the assistant principal, and the principal. I had the privilege of meeting him 20 years ago, and I have to say that he was one of the most kind, considerate, and loving principals I have ever seen. He, rather than sit in an ivory tower, would go out at lunchtime and wander around the courtyard at the high school. He knew every kid's name. To this day, my son graduated almost 20 years ago. To this day, he comes up and asks how my son Christian is doing and asks about each one of his friends. He remembers that. He left our district for about 3 years, but we are fortunate that he returned as a principal, as our superintendent, and he's now in our 10th year. You know, there's so many things that I could say about him and what he does, but there's one thing I got to learn from Karl Mueller, and this is when I was able to work in the district office. Karl taught me this. What do you see?
2/3 glass.
What do you, not cranberry. Half full, half empty. What Karl Mueller taught me is to look at life. Doesn't matter if it's half empty or half full. It's a beautiful glass, and we are very fortunate to have him as our superintendent.
Good afternoon, Rotarians. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. I can talk for hours celebrating our school district and bragging about our students and our supportive parents and community. 25 minutes is going to be challenging for me, but our board president, my boss, has her timer going to try to hold me to a timeline. So I'm going to speak. Jeanmarie asked, rather than going through test data and programs that we offer, to really focus on some of our initiatives in the areas of pathways. So I'm going to talk a little bit about pathways, and then I've asked one of our seniors to come up and share his experience in our pathway programs. And then if there's any time remaining, I will cover some of our assessment data and some of our accomplishments as a school district, because everyone in this community should be proud of what our students accomplish on an annual, monthly, and day-to-day basis. So who we are at a glance: we serve ages 2 through 22 years old. We have 2,700 students, 4 schools, 98% and change of our students graduate. A third of our students are military connected, and currently 17% of our students are inter-district transfer students. And we operate an annual budget of $54 million. So what's new in CUSD? Many of you may have participated. Over the past few years, we engaged the community, our students, and our parents in a process called the Portrait of a Graduate. And as we, raise your hand if you've heard the term basic aid. Okay, I'm not going to get into a great long explanation. Was that 25 minutes? An explanation of basic aid. Long story short, our funding source is going to shift at the conclusion of next school year, and we will be 100% funded through property tax rather than the local control funding formula that the state of California currently provides. It's a game changer for us. It's about 20% additional revenue. I want to thank the City of Coronado, City Council, for years and years of work, including 2 lawsuits against the Department of Finance in Sacramento. But the board tasked us with, how are we building the district we want to become in basic aid before we reach basic aid? Because our current students are deserving of the resources and the initiatives that we believe and we know are going to serve them well as they transition into life beyond the walls of 650 D Avenue. So we started this process, Portrait of a Graduate, and there are 3 components. Okay, I want you to think about an organization and what it takes to execute an objective. Okay, we've developed portraits for our systems, our adults, and our graduates, our students. The process to go through and design these portraits involved 64,000 data points from student surveys, parent surveys. We had futurists come and talk about the initiatives and the pathways that we should be offering to make our students marketable so they'll be employable when they graduate from our schools. Then we had to design the systems that will support the adults who will support the students to execute that vision. Okay, I want to go back to what I said. Build the district we want to become in basic aid before we reach basic aid. That took a huge financial commitment and trust fall from our governing board. They said spend down your reserves to ensure that we have the programs in place for our students to be successful, so when we reach basic aid, we're just strengthening and designing programs that are offshoots of our student interests that align with the current job opportunities and college majors that our students have passion and interests in. This is not new for us. Academic excellence is what drives our school district. We are in the business of academic achievement in a safe and supportive environment. And when I say safety, I talk about the physical and the mental and emotional safety of our students. But at the core of our mission as public educators, we want our students to be successful and to have options and opportunities when they graduate from our schools. So how do we measure academic excellence? There are a few things that I would love to get into, but right now we're going to talk about pathway programs. Okay, what are pathway programs? Pathway programs span kindergarten through 12th grade. And essentially, we like to design experiences for our students in our elementary schools that are foundational. So whether it's world language, robotics, engineering, visual and performing arts, we want to expose our students at the elementary level and then build on those experiences when they reach Coronado Middle School, including some high school credit offered courses at CMS. And then when they reach Coronado High School, they have opportunities above and beyond the core competencies, the math, English, science, history, etc., to pursue their passion. Today, I'm going to ask my friend and student, Sean Wilbur, to talk about two of those pathways in his experience, but for a little context. Current K-12 pathways. I talked about we listen to our students' desires. We have a phrase in our district office, students vote with their feet. If we pilot a course, enrollment will determine if we continue offering that course or not. And do we expand it down? Do we expand it up? In 2009, 3 CHS students approached me with Bill LeMay, our retired physics teacher, and said, we want a robotics team. We want a club where we can design and compete in a robotics competition. Here we are, 16 years later, and we have a robust robotics program, K through 12, in our district. Sean will talk about that in like 30 seconds. When we went through the portrait of a graduate process and we heard the 64,000 data points, two of the most prevailing interests of our community and our students were in the areas of biliteracy. So how are we expanding dual language experiences for our students? And the other was in environmental stewardship. So while we have K-12 pathways in visual and performing arts, robotics, and world language, the list on this side show where we have experiences currently available for our students, primarily at the high school, and now we're scaffolding down. We're building down for students who have those interests at our elementary and our middle school. But the most exciting part of today will be Sean Wilbur, so I'm going to introduce our student to tell us a little bit more about robotics and environmental stewardship. Sean.
And I didn't exactly get the costume memo, so
Sorry.
I'm coming from kind of goofy hair day at school. It's like Spirit Week right now, so that's kind of what we got going on up here. But yeah, what does a pathway look like? We've got that amazing picture. That's me and my little brother. That's Ryan. He's in 7th grade at CMS. And really, when we talk about pathways, we're going to be talking about a whole range of ages. And so when I was looking at that slideshow, Mr. Mueller came up to me yesterday, I was flipping through it, and I was really just thinking about all the things they were building out that have impacted me, and that in 5 years are going to be impacting him too. And so as an older brother, that's kind of my goal, is to make his experience as amazing as possible. So if we look here, we've got these pictures here, and a lot of this is coming from our STEM programs here in Coronado Unified. And so I have been so lucky to be a participant, a coach, a mentor, and a student in these programs. And so just to kind of go way back, I think it was like pre-COVID, 2019, 10-year-old me walks in, and I'm in middle school now, and I hear about the robotics program. And I've always been a bit of a STEM nerd, you know, kind of crunch the numbers, math class was my jam. And so joining robotics back in 6th grade, I think was one of the most pivotal moments in my life. And that's how important and crucial that these pathways are, is because when I joined that program, just little mathematician Sean back in 6th grade, I was deciding kind of the future of the next 7 years of my life that have brought me today to speaking with you guys. That would probably scare sixth grade Sean a lot, but you know, these pathways are super pivotal, okay? And so, could you go back to the last screen? On like that, yeah. So I'm definitely more of that STEM guy, but I have a lot of friends who are into other things, and we've got great pathways for them too. And so you see here we've got these expanding pathways and the ones that already exist. Current K through 12 pathways. You guys know about COSA. Hands up if you got into a COSA event within the past. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I always check there's like a senior discount on the tickets. I'm like, I'm gonna make use of that. And then robotics over here, that's what I'm here to talk about. And then world language, that's also something I've been very fortunate to benefit from. I got the seal of biliteracy. I know we have like hundreds of kids that get the seal of biliteracy every year, and so that's really state recognition that we can hablo some Espanol every once in a while. And then, so we have those current pathways. What are we trying to build out? We talked about basic aid, we talked about funding. A lot of the funding structure is really complicated, but what I do know is that although we have all these amazing things, we're going to be able, and so fortunate, to be able to build more stuff soon. And so that looks like biomedical pathways. Those are my friends who really want to go out in the world and help people in the hospital, maybe they're going out on ambulances. That's their jam. Engineering, I love that course. We've got an amazing staff for that, and that kind of couples with robotics there. Computer science, I really have enjoyed. That changed how I think. You know, that comp sci class, it's not just coding, but it's how are you thinking about logic? If, then statements. If I'm doing this, then this. Sports medicine, I know people love going down on the football field. They feel really cool when they're down there with the water and the medicine stuff, and they're helping our teams stay safe. That's really important. Woodworking, it's really weird. Sometimes I'm in finals and I'm really stressed because I've got like a big calc exam, and then I see people like carrying like end tables next to them. Apparently their exam is to like build like a coffee table for them. That sounds really fun. I haven't taken the course yet, but it sounds really fun. And then media and design arts. So kind of tying back into that COSA stuff. Today during the broadcast, there was some amazing media and design arts that gets broadcast to the entire school. And so that really ties us together as a community, because although we have all these pathways, you see all these different things that all different people are trying to go into. We're all CHS students, we're all Coronado Unified students together. And so the media and design arts is really tying us all together. And then you see this red part here, that's what I was supposed to be talking about, was just the red parts actually. So environmental stewardship. So another little story time. So I used to participate in the junior lifeguards program. And so that was my jam every summer. I'd go out, spend 3 weeks, some of the most physically enduring weeks of my life. It was very difficult. But I also learned a lot about the ocean, about ocean safety, and about our beach community, and the amazing first responders that are out there. And then about 3 or 4 years ago, one day I showed up to JG's, and we couldn't go in the water. And I was like, that sucks. I live in a beach town. I should be able to go in the water, right? And I was told that there were too many pollutants in the, you guys know you guys know what's up. And I was really bummed because it meant instead of going out and surfing, I had to go like do kayaking in the bay, which is so like privileged of me to. But anyway, I had to go kayaking for a day in the bay because it wasn't clean. But that was really kind of the switch moment for me, where I was like, hey, the beach is there, but it's not always going to be safe and accessible for us. And so that's when I pivoted and I started working with other students at the high school, and we founded the Stop the Sewage Club. And that's been a lot of fun for me, getting a lot of different opportunities through that. We felt so much support from the school district. We've been named the CUSD Club of the Year 2 years in a row, which is a lot of fun. And so it really all ties into how we're being supported by the district. Because my friends that want to go work in a hospital, they're supported by the district. My friends who want to go be a news anchor and they're on the broadcast every week, they're supported by the district. My friends who are coming from other countries and are learning different languages and they're like trilingual, quadrilingual. They're learning all these, they're supported by the district too. And that's what I feel is supported by the school district. We have all these amazing things, including the 2 red ones that I was only supposed to talk about those 2 and I kind of went on all of it. But I felt really fortunate recently as I look back. This is my senior year. I've got 6 months until the G word graduation. We don't say it. And I feel so supported and so lucky to have spent this time in Coronado Unified. I moved here in 5th grade, and I saw the impact of our innovation lab. We call them the iLab. And that's where all students are going. And I felt the impact of core curriculums, including computer science. Because raise your hand if your phone kind of confuses you sometimes. Yeah, it confuses me a lot of the time too. And so that's what we're building is students that are ready for the future. And all of that's embedded in, and all of that we're so lucky to be able to feel. So competitive and exploratory opportunity. Yes, lots of opportunities. Because I've been so lucky. It hasn't just been me that's feeling lucky. I think I talk to my classmates, and we feel so blessed to be in this community and to have the support from you guys and other organizations and our school district. And I think it's really the community that's pushing the students forward, and we really feel that. So thank you guys for supporting our students. Could you go back to the system, adult, and student, please? One more. Oh, maybe. Yes, fantastic. You guys are part of the system. You guys are the system that's empowering us to be successful. You guys are the system that, in like 5 minutes when we talk about our great test scores, the community is empowering that. Yes, it's like me and my classmates that are complaining about taking some standardized tests, but you guys are the ones that are empowering our opportunities and empowering our learning. So thank you guys for giving us that opportunity. I'm so lucky to have such amazing support from our district, so thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, thank you to our community.
The list of pathways. Okay, I now have 6 minutes. I recognize I failed to mention 2 things. Number 1, everyone on your table should have a copy of the completed pathways. On the inside or the front side are the portraits of a graduate. Those are the objectives and the skills that we want our students to have mastered before they graduate in 2040. So this was a outward-thinking vision document. And then on the back, you'll see the portraits of an adult and portraits of a system. But I just briefly want to explain, what is a pathway? Well, a pathway is, students can take an a la carte menu. You can take woodworking as a standalone course. You earn your high school credits. But if you're passionate about it, you can take year 2 and year 3. You can take computer science, but if you're passionate about it, you can take computer science, advanced placement, computer science, and then advanced placement, principles of computer science. So they're sequenced courses that students who have passions within their area can take multiple courses throughout their high school career. Okay, time to pivot briefly, staying on this slide, to, it's not a humble brag, we're just gonna brag. Okay, Coronado Unified School District is doing things that public schools over the bridge don't do. And with the revenue that we have had, beholden to the local control funding formula, where to simplify this, there are winners and losers in LCFF, and Coronado Unified has been a loser. On average, we receive about $1,600 fewer dollars per pupil than our neighboring districts over the bridge. And that has to do with the formula that the state created regarding demographics. That's where our partnerships with community service clubs, the Coronado Schools Foundation come into play, and also aggressive grant writing campaigns. We've received 9 DODEA grants from the Department of Defense because we have so many military-connected students. Those grants benefit our military-connected students, but the programs and resources that they bring to our district are available to all students. Here's the bragging part. These pathways that we currently offer at Coronado High School, there are pathway programs in San Diego Unified, 3rd largest school district in the state, right? But recently there was an article in the Union Tribune that said, we have a computer science pathway. If your child wants to be in the computer science pathway, they can go to Claremont High School. Okay, that's great if you live in Claremont, but if you live in Scripps Ranch, you're stuck. So their high schools focus on a pathway program. We have a one-stop shop. And we've held this together with gum and glue, and at the end of next school year, we'll have the revenue to actually strengthen and develop more of these experiences down to our middle and our high schools. All right, we're gonna fly through the rest of the PowerPoint. Dual enrollment and test scores. Okay, many of you may remember 5 years ago I was here in this room talking about a change to our bell schedule, the 4x4. Probably read some articles in the Eagle Journal. Not everyone was thrilled to transition from a traditional 6-period day into a 4x4 bell schedule. Those of you who may have attended a University of California school system understand the quarter system. That's what our high school students are following, the quarter system. But what that affords is opportunities for students to take not 6 classes a year, but 8. So if we are going to design pathway experiences for our students while still offering core curriculum through advanced placement calculus BC, then we needed to change the structure of our day to provide additional opportunities for our students to take additional courses. Another brag. There was a recent UT article, San Diego Unified School District, their school board announced that by 2030, every high school in San Diego Unified will be on a 4x4 bell schedule. Okay? So we got a head start. We understood the state of California is now looking at college and career readiness standards as a way to evaluate the success and effectiveness of the school experience. We saw that coming, we changed our bell schedule, and we started building pathway programs anticipating this shift, and our students are above and beyond all of the benchmark data that the state of California gave for college and career readiness. And I can talk about it, but I'd rather show it. Part of the 4x4 transition was how do we bring college experiences onto our high school campus? Okay? Although we are closer to San Diego City College, we are part of the boundary of Southwestern Community College. We signed an MOU with Southwestern a few years ago. We started bringing their professors onto our campus. Our students every year are graduating with community college credits in their pocket that are fully transferable to any public university in the state. So whether you're going to Cal State San Marcos or Cal Berkeley, if you take one of our Southwestern community colleges as a sophomore, a junior, or a senior, your parents aren't paying for that class when you become a freshman at that school. This year alone, American Sign Language 101 and 102. We offer 3 world language pathways at CHS, American Sign Language, French, and Spanish. We are one of 3 high schools in the county that can offer Calculus 3. So students finish Calc BC, which is Calc 2. We now have a professor coming from Southwestern. Our kids can earn Calculus 3 credits at CHS. Introduction to Business, Our student Rotarian is currently enrolled in that. Principles of money management, concepts of criminal law. We've offered a variety of different Southwestern Community College courses that are aligned with our student passions. Okay, let's look at the data and comparisons. The pandemic wreaked havoc on public education. We talk a lot about the regression, right? A lot of students dipped. We have worked hard to catch our students back up. One measure of that is in our advanced placement data. So last year we had 809 exams to 368 students. That's an increase of 102 tests from last year. So our school district is declining in enrollment, like all school districts in the state. We have fewer students, but more of our students are taking our most rigorous courses and then taking the assessment that could transfer into college credit for them when they graduate. We have an 85% pass rate, matching pre-pandemic and pre-4x4 AP pass data. Okay, so one of the major concerns that were expressed about transitioning into the quarter system was the kids who take an advanced placement course in the fall and then take their high stakes assessment in the spring aren't going to be successful on the AP exams. Our students say absolutely not. These are now skill-based assessments. They're not content-based. Our teachers are teaching content from the advanced placement, but College Board is looking for skills. Can students synthesize information? Can they frame arguments? Can they process questions that are thrown at them that are aligned with the content, but do they have the skills to be successful? We say yes. 20% of our students who took the exam earned a 5. Most public and private schools will accept a 5 on an advanced placement course for college credit. That rivals our second highest, which was 6 years ago, 2019, with a 19%. Our CASP data, this is the annual test, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 8th, and 11th graders take. We are currently, among unified school districts in the county, #1 in English language arts, #2 in math, and #2 in science. I do want to say, because I'm a very proud superintendent, the 2 districts that are above us in math and science are basic aid school districts and have been for decades. When we reach basic aid, 20% additional revenue, meaning we can lower class sizes in our target areas. We can add academic interventions for students who need a little additional support. We can make sure our elementary classrooms in particular have fewer students per class. Game changer for us. This is a game changer. And that's it. Thank you so much for listening.
Oh my God, I really didn't want to cut off my principal. Thank you so much for being here. All right, you guys. Thank you all for having fun and dressing up. I really appreciate it. Anyone who didn't dress up, I know it's not because you're boring, it's because you forgot. So it's okay. Please come to next week's meeting. It's my very good friend who's going to talk to us about alcohol and selling alcohol, and there might be a little tasting. So in the meantime, I hope everyone has a great Wednesday. If you want a picture in your costume, hang out over here. We're going to take pictures. And if you have questions about the sign, go over there and talk to Bill. All right. Have a great one, everyone.
Wasn't he good?
Was that?
That young man.
I know. He was very good.